West Coast Milblogger. Your latest news on the conflicts around the world shaping our reality. Hello, West Coast Milblogger fans. As you can see, Jenna Ortega is this week's meme commissioned by our parent company From A to Z to promote the new screenplay Z Dead, now competing in Hollywood scriptwriting contests. It is true. West Coast Milblogger made a donation to help the children of Gaza from her Instagram link. Ortega's new movie on Netflix gives hope to older writers. Maybe making a movie could bring us together. Wednesday would be the perfect stylish addition. Now to this week's writing, where we learn more about air power wars, Chinese world stage, and American political fallout.
Air power wars. Tell us about the historic use of air power and its impact on the players with interests in Ukraine. As Europe celebrated the events of D-Day, when soldiers from Allied armies landed in northern France to demonstrate the power of freedom, it's no mistake SpaceX had a successful Starship launch. The spaceship took off from Texas before landing soon after in the Indian Ocean. This trip, spanning nearly half the globe, is a new pinnacle in Western technological development. Imagine how it could carry a large load of ammunition from the United States to a nation like Taiwan in less than an hour, if they found themselves being invaded by a larger neighboring country. Ironically, it takes a nuclear ballistic missile about a half hour to hit any target in the world. From a submarine off an enemy coastline, 10 minutes. Yet, China discourages the use of nukes by the Russians even as ships with such capabilities sail to Cuba. In 1812, France found Moscow burning after they entered the city. In the War of 1812, the English burned Washington, D.C. to the ground a year before defeating Napoleon at Waterloo. Now, France is sending warplanes to Ukraine with the aim of training their pilots. This as news of F-16s being used in the European theater of war ramps up. Currently, Western weapon shipments sent to the front line near Kharkiv are meant to destroy Russia's air defenses on their side of the border. This could create regional air superiority toward the end of summer.
Chinese world stage. Share how China's economic power continues to shape global politics as they make the case to replace the United States as the #1 influencer. As we've been reporting, China has made the move to secure rare earth minerals needed to make EVs, solar panels, and wind turbines. They're also making hydrogen while working with the Russians to build pipelines for increased access to oil. Not to mention dumping U.S. treasuries. Very shrewd business dealings, making the most of money, even as a former high-ranking Chinese banker calls for lower government intervention on the economy. The world resists China's dominance because of unfair business dealings with foreign companies. They are all Chinese in China, so they've never had to deal with lawsuits due to discrimination based on sex, religion, or race, meaning they can discriminate. This remains unnoticed while they claim to be victims of the colonialization era. However, as tensions rise during a buildup for an invasion of Taiwan, we are allowed to see the plight of other smaller Asian nations saying China's bullying them. Even Russia, they never built great infrastructure in Siberia because of Chinese invasion fears. Still, China does what it can to brand itself as a trusted global partner, recently releasing images of an international base on the moon.
American political fallout. It should always be remembered America was built by Europeans after a genocidal war on the indigenous population to protect themselves from the very same threat on their home continent. While the use of nukes gets simmered down by Putin 2.0, he also threatens a second Cuban Missile Crisis, as evening anchors in Moscow push forward the same scorched earth policy. Had Trump won in 2020, historians can only imagine the ability of the Kremlin to manipulate the West through this possible proxy who wanted to defund NATO. Now Trump's leading the polls for another run at the presidency. It could be an easy trope to paint Trump as a one-man band embattled in courtroom drama. Can this all-star politician single-handedly win all the court cases against him while crafting legislation to end wars in Ukraine and Gaza, and simultaneously convince the Chinese to back away from Taiwan? That's a question voters must ask themselves if they use their mind to pick the right candidate. However, those are the goals of the current administration. Real Republicans remain a silent minority, while outspoken MAGAs have stated they would become dictators, allowing Russia and China to do whatever they please. Maybe these are asides, while the real focus of manipulative petty politics on bogus, trumped-up charges galvanize public opinion. Digging into the heart and soul of this, we must analyze Melania Trump's reaction to the stormy scandal rocking the nation's capital. It must hurt on some level. How deep the pain goes, we might never know. Let's just hope we don't all have to suffer a scorned woman.
In conclusion, it doesn't hurt when safety works. That's the West Coast Milblogger way, as our conscience tells us the story of the world around us, shaped through global conflicts. Stay tuned next week for the next meme in our ongoing screenplay contest campaign.